Morning children, yesterday I sent you notes about Larmos theorem. So that is an important question in 5 marks. If they ask only statement, they will ask in 2 marks. If they ask what is Larmos theorem and give its explanation, then the question is in section B. Okay. Now I am going to tell you about Larmos theorem. Statement. The effect of a magnetic field on an electron moving in an orbit is to superimpose. Means there will be two motions. One is imposed on the other. One motion is made to travel on the other. That means in a circular motion the orbit is made to travel. So superimposition on the orbital motion, a precessional motion of the entire orbit. Precessional means in the form of an elliptical shape. Orbit in the direction of the magnetic field with angular velocity. You must remember, whenever a particle is traveling in a circular path, it will experience angular velocity. And that angular velocity omega is given by Be by 2m, where B is the strength of the magnetic field, E is the charge of the electron. You know the charge of electron is 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. M is the mass of the electron. The mass of the electron is 9.1 into 10 power minus 31 kg. So whenever an electron is revolving in an orbital motion, then the electron will experience an angular velocity, and that angular velocity is expressed in terms of omega, and it is equal to Be by 2m, where B is the strength of the magnetic field, E is the charge of the electron, and m is the mass of the electron. Here, whenever the electron is moving in such a field, there will be two types of forces. One is the centripetal force, another one is the centrifugal force. Either the centripetal force or centrifugal force, the expression will be given as F is equal to mv square by r, where m is the mass of the particle revolving in the circular path, r is the radius of the circular path, and v is the velocity in which the particle is moving. So based on this Larmos theorem, there was an improvement by another scientist named Zeeman. Now we can see that by using an electron motion in an electric field or magnetic field, we can produce spectral lines. That you have to remember. By applying electric field or magnetic field on the movement of electron, we can produce some effects. That effects are known as magneto-optical phenomenon. That is known as what? Magneto. M-A-G-N-T-O. Magneto-optical phenomenon. Phenomenon means process. We are applying magnetic effect on the light shed by a particle. So that is known as magneto-optical phenomenon. Magnetic effect is applied on a particle which is giving out light. Optic means light. So it is known as magneto-optical phenomenon. So we can produce spectral lines by applying magnetic field or electric field. If you are applying magnetic field, it is called magneto-optical phenomenon. If you apply electric field, it is called electro-optical phenomenon. In this unit, you must remember two major important processes. That is, you know that there are two states of energy or energy levels, ground state to excited state. Whenever an electron is moving from ground state to excited state, absorption of energy is taking place. Then no spectral line will be given. When it is jumping from excited state to ground state, it will emit radiations. That radiations are nothing but spectral lines. I think now you are very clear what is meant by spectral lines. When an electron is moving from ground state to excited state, it is absorbing energy. It will not stay in the excited state for a very long time because the lifetime of the electron is very short. Therefore, it will jump from the excited state to ground state. When it is moving from excited state to ground state, it will emit radiations. That emitted radiations are nothing but spectral lines. So you can produce spectral lines by two processes. One is magneto-optical method or electro-optical method. Magneto-optical means you are applying magnetic field on a light shedding particle. Electro-optical effect means you are applying electric field on a light shedding particle. Therefore, that effect. So, based on these two ideas, the next scientist known is Zeeman. He produced spectral lines with the application of magnetic field on an electron when it is jumping from excited level to ground level. So Zeeman effect. So that effect is known as Zeeman effect. That effect is known as Zeeman effect. Due to the application of magnetic field on a moving electron, spectral lines can be produced, and that effect is known as Zeeman effect. In Zeeman effect, there are two types of Zeeman effect. One is known as normal Zeeman effect. One is known as normal Zeeman effect. And another one is known as anomalous Zeeman effect. Another one is known as anomalous Zeeman effect. So Zeeman effect is of two types. One is known as normal Zeeman effect and the another one is known as anomalous Zeeman effect. Now we are going to see what is meant by Zeeman effect, what is meant by normal Zeeman effect, what is meant by anomalous Zeeman effect, what is meant by this. So Zeeman observed that if a source of light produces a line of spectral in a magnetic field, Zeeman observed that when a light is producing a spectral line in the magnetic field, the spectral line will split into two components. You have to remember, two components. Then it is known as Zeeman effect. When a light emitting, when a magnetic field is applied on a light emitting source, it will emit spectral lines and this spectral line will split up into two components. Then it is known as Zeeman effect. When the splitting occurs in two or three lines, when you are applying magnetic field on a spectral line and if that spectral line is splitting into two or more components, two or three components, then it is known as normal Zeeman effect. There the field must be strong, the applied magnetic field must be strong. If we are applying a weak magnetic field and if the spectral line splits up into more than three components, then it is called anomalous Zeeman effect. That is the thing you have to remember. When you are applying magnetic field on a spectral line and if the spectral line is split into two components, Zeeman effect. When it is splitting into three components, normal Zeeman effect. But there, in these two cases, you are applying a strong magnetic field. Then anomalous Zeeman. In a weak magnetic field, due to the application of weak magnetic field, if the spectral line is splitting into more than three components, then it is known as anomalous Zeeman effect. Suppose I am taking hydrogen atom and now applying magnetic field. If it is splitting into H alpha, H beta, then it is Zeeman effect. If it is splitting into H alpha, H beta, H gamma, then it is normal Zeeman effect. If it is splitting into H alpha, H beta, H gamma, H delta in a weak magnetic field, then it is known as anomalous Zeeman effect. That's all that you have to remember. I am taking an hydrogen atom, it is splitting two spectral lines due to the application of magnetic field, Zeeman effect. Due to the strong magnetic effect, it is giving three lines, H alpha, H beta, H gamma. Then it is normal Zeeman effect. Now I am applying a weak magnetic field on a spectral line. It is getting split up into four components, H alpha, H beta, H gamma, H delta. Then it is known as anomalous Zeeman effect. Now I think that you would have got a very clear picture about what is Zeeman effect, what is normal Zeeman effect, what is anomalous Zeeman effect. Okay, now we are going to see Lorentz classical theory of Zeeman effect. Now we are going to see what? Lorentz classical. Because I told you that classical is the first theory, next is the quantum theory, and next is the electromagnetic theory. Whenever you want to see an effect and you want to tell whether the effect is good or bad, whether you want to tell the effect is good or bad, we must see that it in three things. One, first you must see its classical behavior. Then you must see its quantum behavior. First you must read about classical behavior, then you must see about quantum behavior, then you have got electromagnetic behavior. So whenever we are going to explain whether behavior, whether the Zeeman effect is good or not, first it was explained in classical behavior, next it was told in quantum behavior, next it was told in electromagnetic behavior. Now we are going to see that the classical behavior was explained by a scientist named as Lorentz. So it is known as Lorentz. You should write like this: Lorentz classical theory. Lorentz classical theory of normal Zeeman effect. So this is the. So they will ask this in 5 marks. So what is Zeeman effect? What is normal Zeeman effect? What is anomalous Zeeman effect? Is the question for 2 marks. Explain the Lorentz classical theory of normal Zeeman effect means they will ask in 5 marks. First point, the emission of light by a glowing gas is due to vibrating motion of an electron. Vibrating means what? 1, 2 and fro motion. 1, 2 and fro motion is known as one vibration or one oscillation. In the beginning of this class I told you, when you are applying electric field or magnetic field, the electron will vibrate. So that is known as vibrating motion of an electron. Now the electron executes simple harmonic motion. That is what it will execute. That is what it will execute, simple harmonic motion. This gives rise, the simple harmonic motion gives rise to a spectral line. This gives rise to a spectral line. Any linear, that means straight line. Any linear motion can be resolved into 2 components. One is known as longitudinal motion, another one is known as transverse motion. If the particle is made to vibrate in a direction parallel to the original direction, then it is known as longitudinal motion. If a particle is made to vibrate in a direction parallel to the original direction, then it is known as longitudinal vibration. Parallel. Suppose if a vibration is made to travel in a direction at right angles or perpendicular to the original direction, then it is known as transverse. So you have to remember, longitudinal means parallel, transverse means perpendicular. Longitudinal means transverse. Now, when an electron is traveling in a linear motion, it is resolved into 2 components. One is linear motion, another one is a circular motion. One is a linear motion, another one is a circular motion. This circular motion is made into 2, that is longitudinal, and another one is transverse. Longitudinal and another one is transverse. So the linear motion of the field is not affected by the field. Hence this frequency acquired by the component is unchanged by the magnetic field. The other 2 circular components, that is longitudinal and transverse, so one is getting accelerated, another is getting deaccelerated. That means one makes the frequency increase and the other makes the frequency to decrease. One makes the frequency to increase and other makes the frequency to decrease, but by the same amount of angular velocity omega is equal to Be. Whether the vibrations may increase or decrease, but by an angular velocity omega is equal to dE by 2m, where B is the strength of the magnetic field, E is the charge of the electron experiencing orbital or circular motion in linear or two circular motions, longitudinal and circular. Now longitudinal and transverse vibrations are set up. These vibrations explain longitudinal and transverse Zeeman pattern. So this is your original line, and you can see that again you have to draw a dotted line. Again I drawn a solid line. Now I am drawing three solid lines. This is the original spectral line. Now applying magnetic field. So it is splitting up into two. One is going in clockwise direction, another one is going in anti-clockwise direction. So you must write spectral line due to longitudinal motion. Motion means movement. Now this is perpendicular. I told you parallel, longitudinal, perpendicular, transverse. Now you must write here spectral line due to transverse motion. So remember two simple words. If it is longitudinal means the vibrations are parallel. If the vibrations are at right angles or at 90 degree or normal, then they are called transverse. So T means transverse, L means parallel. Finish. Now here the difference between any two spectral lines is d lambda. So you have to remember Raman effect when I got you optics in second year, fifth sem, fourth sem. I told you Raman effect. One line. When you apply something, it will split up into two lines. One is this is the mother line, this is the daughter line. So original lambda is wavelength is lambda. One wavelength will be lambda plus d lambda. Another will be lambda minus d lambda. This is the parent. Two daughters are produced. One will be having a wavelength greater. One will be having a wavelength less than that. Likewise. So the difference in wavelength between any two lines can be expressed as delta lambda. That is what I am writing, lambda plus d lambda, lambda minus d lambda, and this is the original line. So these are the two daughters. That is what Raman effect. When a monochromatic light is applied on a crystal clear solution without any disturbances or without any other particles, then definitely it will split up into two. Mother gives two daughters. Likewise here also, in the starting I told you, Zeeman effect when applied on a spectral line is applied, the magnetic field split into two. Maybe longitudinal. Now when you are giving very strong magnetic field, more than 2 or 3, normal Zeeman effect. When you are giving weak magnetic field, more than 3, then you say this has what? Anomalous Zeeman effect. Okay, now I am going to stop the class with this one. This is the classical theory 5.5 marks. So next class we will derive the expression for Zeeman shift. Thank you.